All right, BJ, one problem I have with oDesk and Elance, especially coming from Australia, where the standard of living and the prices here are a lot higher than most of the developing nations, where there are a lot of freelancers on oDesk and Elance. How do I compete with the pricing that they offer?
Well, it's a very common problem that a lot of Western freelancers have. And that is when you have two types of competition. One is the freelancers that come from low-cost countries like India, Philippines, Malaysia now increasingly. And another type of competitions are those that are staying at home in Western countries increasingly. Some of them are retirees, some of them are handicapped, and they just are looking for an extra income. They already got their overhead covered, and they're able to churn out articles, for instance, for $5 for 500 words. So that's the type of competition that you're after. And I think there are a couple of strategic ways that you can effectively compete with it. And the first is to try to identify work that involves a little bit of a higher level of complexity. For instance, article writing is not that difficult to do. So then the question becomes, well, how can you come up with articles, if you decide to do that, that are different, that require more specialist expertise? And I would say that that's actually difficult to do. So if that's your way of thinking, I would try to challenge that and say, well, okay, well, if that is difficult, then what else could I do which is more targeted, that is more specialized? So as a writer, I would then try to think, well, I can deliver a writing service. I can also make sure that I'm delivering it with a high editing quality, which reduces the cost for the employer. Which actually takes me to another important point, which is quality. Ultimately, if someone that comes from an Asian country is claiming that they are a writer, then the ultimate cost for the employer is basically threefold. The start is the cost of the article that is purchased. Secondly is the cost of editing. And thirdly is the cost of annoyance of dealing with various freelancers. And another thing which...
Why are they annoying? Sorry, why are they annoying?
It's just annoying to have to repeat the same message over and over again.
So what you're saying is if they're not from an English-speaking background, it's a lot harder to communicate with them and explain and instruct, essentially. Is that right?
At times it can be. It's very important to not be too generalistic there, because I mean, I've had tremendous experiences with freelancers that come from non-Western countries, and I've also had less good experiences with people coming from the US. However, there tend to be a similarity among those that are the best freelancers. They tend to have a better understanding for deadlines. They tend to have a professional work ethic which goes beyond their nationality and so on. Like just today I was chatting with a freelancer from India, and I cannot identify him as coming from India by the quality of his work. And I'm generalistic about that, but I spent a week going over 100 applications from various web designers from around the world, and the ones that I've stuck with, the ones that are now shortlisted, I'm interviewing, they tend to have the same characteristics. They focus on things that matter a lot to the clients. So in my case, they're focusing on conversion optimization, they're focusing on marketing. They're not focusing that much on the technical aspects, even though that has to be there. So replying to your question, how will you be able to effectively compete? That goes back to first trying to understand what it is that the client ultimately is after. The client is after quality. And secondly, try to think of ways that you're able to deliver that quality at a lower total cost to your client. And the total cost is multifaceted, as I previously mentioned. I mentioned the three elements to that. So you can actually use your location, your language, and even your own skills to your advantage. So let's say, for instance, that you have a passion for winemaking, and you happen to be near a winemaking region. Then it doesn't really matter if the freelancer is coming from India, if you're able to use that to your advantage to, for instance, interview winemakers in your region, do drop in interviews and so on. Okay. So that's part of it, a big part of it.
Cool.